You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. Now, today is The Breakfast Club's Change for Change. We'll be on the radio for 18 hours, 6 a.m. to 12 midnight. And our mission today is to raise money for Project 375 to raise awareness of mental health and the stigma and raise funding for treatment. You can donate right now. Just text CHANGE to 52182 or head over to the website bcchangeforchange.com. And right now on the phone lines, we got my guy, Brandon Marshall. What's up, sir?
MV, what's up, brother?
How's everything, bro?
Good, man. Down here in New Orleans, bro.
Well, congratulations for signing with the Saints.
Congratulations. Wish you had signed with my Cowboys, but it's okay.
On my Giants, man.
Yeah, well, I already made that stop in New York. Went to the Jets and the Giants.
That's when Envy was a Jets fan when you played for the Jets, I remember.
I was not. I'm always a Giants fan.
Hey, man, I want to.
Great. Giants didn't work out too well.
We know.
Hey, I want to salute to you, my brother, for starting Project 375, man, because, you know, mental health is something that's near and dear to my heart, man. So I want to salute you and on your mission to raise awareness for mental health and the stigma.
I appreciate that, bro. I think it's something that definitely needs to be talked about. I feel like this conversation's on the front line of our country now. Unfortunately, you know, we'd be farther along if we wasn't talking so much politics every day, but the past 2 years, you know, if you notice, you know, especially with all of our influencers, you know, athletes, entertainers, writers, businessmen, a lot of people are being bold and standing up telling their story, which, you know, allows other people to be more vulnerable and talk about it. You know, when you look at it in our community, you know, people say, well, what's the stigma in our community, the African-American community, the minority community? And I really be like, man, there ain't no stigma. You know, the only stigma really is how we use words. Like, we might say, like, oh, man, that person crazy or that person retarded. But we don't really think about mental health. Like, everything is so off in our community that it just feels normal. And it's not until you outside of that you realize, like, man, yeah, something really is wrong with the way we talk to each other, the way we process things, the way we communicate, you know. Like, you don't really realize it.
Man, Brandon, I talk about a lot of that stuff in my new book, man, Shook One, where I talk about how we normalize so much BS in the hood. Like, we normalize the violence. Like, yo, you're not supposed to be getting guns pulled on you. You're not supposed to be robbing people. You're not supposed to be running from police officers. Like, you're not supposed to witness your, you know, father abusing your mother. Like, you're not supposed to be surrounded by, you know, crackheads every day. Like, all the stuff we normalize, we don't realize the effects that has on us later on in life.
Bro, not only do we normalize it, we glorify it. You know what I mean? I remember growing up being like, man, my hood's number one in, you know, in the murder capital in the world. You know what I mean? Number two, you know. It's like we normalize that. We think that that's something to celebrate. It's really backwards, man. I mean, it's so deep-rooted, you know, and as you know, like when you go through therapy and you go through the things that I went through and a lot of us should go through, you know, you realize you got to peel back layers. And some of those layers it's not just a couple years. Sometimes it's generations. You know, like for me, I had to peel back not only, you know, the 25, 26 years of my life, but I had to go through my dad's life and realize, like,
yes,
wow, my dad didn't have a mom and a dad, so that's why he raised us the way he did. Like,
yes.
He really didn't even know any better. And then you realize, like, man, I got to forgive you, Pops. Like, you ain't even know no better. You ain't have no chance. So now I understand why you treated my mom the way you treated my mom. My mom treated you the way she did. Like, y'all was just so traumatized and didn't even know it.
Now I was gonna ask, how has everything going on with your mental illness helped you or hurt you with football?
I mean, it's both. You know, number one, let's start on, you know, the other end of the spectrum, how it hurt me. I mean, I probably lost like $40-50 million. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, when you go through things in the workspace, obviously it holds you back. For a lot of people, they don't even get a second chance. So for me, when it was time for me to get paid, you know, teams were looking at me like, well, we're not sure. You know, why should we invest all this money into a kid who doesn't seem to have it together or, you know, continues to get in his own way? And then obviously off the field, endorsement deals. You know, in the later part of my career, I've been able to kind of salvage that and do some great things. I'm a full-time analyst on Inside the NFL and Showtime, so I've been able to show that I got past it. But I should have been able to do things like that from year 2, year 3, year 4. But I missed out on all of that. So I would say, financially and also relationship-wise. It's funny because I just got picked up with the Saints, and when you out on the streets, man, that's when you really need people, and that's when you need to really use relationships. And it's funny, how many bridges you can burn when you're so hurt. But the way I look at it, man, it helped me more than it hurt me. Number one, we got an opportunity to help, and we have helped a lot of people. We have stories where we spoke and implemented our program, and a teacher went back to her classroom, used the tools and techniques that my wife and her team has trained them in, and a kid opens his book bag and, tells the teacher, hey, I was going to commit suicide. I was going to take my life, complete suicide tonight, but, because of what you said and what you did, here I am. So it's been very impactful in that way. And then also, I look at it as performance. I call it mental fitness, right? Because the stigma around it, Charlamagne, like you talked about, we should approach it the same, a physical ailment and a mental ailment. So for me, I feel like there's obviously there's potential in all of us, and my life's, mission statement is unlock my full potential, right? Now that's different from y'all's, but if my mental fitness is right, then that's how I'll be able to achieve that. And there's so many things that we got to go through from the impairment side, whether that's dealing with anxiety or depression or bipolar disorder or borderline personality disorder. And then on the performance side, how do I get more out of my brain? How do I get more out of my mind? How do I overcome stress and adversity when I may not even have a disorder or an ailment? So it's helped me so much, man, to be able to lock in and focus on the field and to continue to pick myself up and just take it to a whole nother level.
Do you feel like this encouraged your teammates to actually come forward and address any issues they might have had and speak to you about that as well?
Oh, 100%. Like, this is no different than, the cancer community. This is no different than the LGBT community. This is no different than, a woman losing a child, right? There's empowerment when you speak up and say, like, this is what I dealt with, and then you'll notice other women or other men stand up and say, wow, like, you dealt with that too? And you only feel that when you stand up and speak. And then there's these little pockets begin to form where people start pulling you to the side saying, hey, man, can you help me? Or, bro, me too. I've had teammates and coaches, executives, owners of teams come up to me or reach out for help because their kids are going through things, or their wife. I had a situation where a kid this was years ago, a kid was trying to hurt himself, harm himself, and the team didn't know what to do, so they called me in. We had situations where we were flying, places, and someone had a panic attack, and they didn't know what to do. I'm like, do you guys know the difference between a heart attack and a panic attack? Right?
Word up. That's the first time I ever got diagnosed with anxiety. I thought I was having a heart attack, and it was a feeling that I used to have all throughout my life. But like 9 years ago, I had this real crazy panic attack, and you couldn't tell me I wasn't having a heart attack. And then that's when I first got diagnosed with anxiety.
Yeah, I mean, it's serious, and those are things we don't know about, and that's like, I was in an outpatient program for 3 months. I was like Monday through Friday on campus from 8 to 5. It was like I was a science experiment, but I loved it. But after that, 5-6 years after, I still didn't understand the difference between a panic attack, and a heart attack and different things. I still, played into the stigma. So that's why I'm so proud of my wife, who you guys had on yesterday. So I appreciate y'all for that. But she flies around the country, and take people through 8-hour courses, teaching them that, right? So when I was in that situation, I was able to tell the people, like, listen, you're going to be okay. You're not having a heart attack. This is what we're going to do.
Breathe.
You know what I mean?
Breathe.
Yeah, but we don't know those things. What do you do? What do you do when you have a kid that's in high school and you find out they've been bullied, or just forget bullying? You find a letter that says, I want to take my life. What do you do? Even in elementary, this is happening. What do you do? We don't know how to have those conversations. We don't have those conversations.
Well, we about to start having them now. And Brandon,
Absolutely.
listen, man, we know you just signed with the Saints, and you know we hate to ask you to
even though you gave $1 million already.
Yeah, you know, but just just
want to encourage the people.
Just want to encourage the
right
people.
now.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Just make a little small donation to your own cause.
You know, P from Quality Control that houses Cardi B, the Migos, Little Yachty, and Lil Baby. He gave a little 20 cents this morning, 20,000. So we just curious to what you want to throw in there, if anything.
Okay, bet. I'll throw in 20,000. I matched them. I appreciate them.
Okay, all right. Damn, I should have said they donated more.
Add on to our pledge.
All right, well, thank you. There you go, right there. Brandon Marshall's throwing 20,000 into the pot.
Brandon Marshall just donated 20,000.
Yeah, I can't let him outdo me.
Hey, man, we appreciate you. Brandon Marshall just donated $20,000 to his own foundation, Project 375. That's how much the cause of mental health means to him, okay? Brandon, thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank
All right,
you.
bro.